Hello everyone, I'm Jack and Wass, and I am here with another video on Anthem. This time I want to kind of go over some of the patch notes they had released and with the recent update, and also want to kind of go over the recent changes and what they have done with the loot, and kind of want to give some of my thoughts of what they've done there. I know I'm kind of late to the party here, but I have had a little bit of chance to play, also been a little bit busy with some other things as well. First, I wanted to go over what they did as far as the respawns. What they ended up doing was they removed the respawn restrictions across the board. Now there's just a timer that where anytime you're on a critical path, agent missions, or kind of any non-in-game missions, you have a respawn timer of 10 seconds. And then as far as legendary missions, strongholds, or legendary contract, strongholds, and other in-game missions, they ended up making the timer to be 30 seconds. That's actually pretty good to me. I kind of like that change where it doesn't make it too easy, but it also gets it to where you kind of avoid those situations where sometimes you can't get to one of your squad mates, or they're like stuck in a really bad spot. And that's just where you can, if you just hold off for 30 more seconds, then they can end up reviving themselves, and they can kind of stay in the fight there. Another thing they did was they changed a little bit of the loot tables there to where if you are level 30, you should no longer be seeing any common or uncommon drops. Hopefully that will kind of help with getting a lot of the better items, the epic, legendaries, and the master ones there. As far as that part goes, the next thing I want to talk about was the change they made to the Titans. This is the one I find somewhat interesting there. They ended up reducing the overall damage mitigation from 100% to 70 and 75% depending on the damage type. Basically, hopefully that means you should no longer see any zeros when shooting a Titan. No matter where you're shooting at, you may not be doing much damage, but you're at least doing some. And that's something that's actually a welcome change for me, because it is kind of annoying when you're shooting it and you just see zeros all the time, and you're having to wait for a lot of those weak points to pop up. And speaking of weak points, they did end up increasing the time that they've been exposed. That's also another good change, because there's a lot of times it seems like you only have like a split second between dodging whatever attack they may be using and then shooting said weak point on the Titan there. The next thing they did was increase the damage that the weak points take on the Titans. I'm a bit iffy on that one, really. I don't completely agree with that one, because to me, if you already increase the time the weak points are exposed, you're pretty much already going to be doing more damage in general. So that one's a bit of overkill. Not exactly sure that's really necessary, but we'll see how that kind of a little bit more of how that affects in the long terms there. And then what they did was they also improved the collisions on the ring and sinking projectile attacks from the Titan. That's actually a really welcome change, because that was actually more of an annoyance for me, especially because a lot of times you'll think you've dodged a little wave of fire and you still end up being set on fire. It was kind of annoying as far as part of that goes. Next thing I want to go over in the patch notes, they did end up some of the more item balance changes with some of the abilities for each of the javelins. They increased the base health of the wind wall and bulwark point to provide better scaling and higher difficulties. The duration of these has been reduced to 20 seconds, down from 60 seconds. I'd actually kind of like that. I don't know if I can somewhat see the decrease in the time there, just for balance purposes. Then the burst mortar damage has been increased to 300, up from 145. And its cooldown has been reduced to 6 seconds, down from 10 seconds. Its description has also been fixed. That's also pretty good. It means you're able to do more damage with that certain ability there. And then the flat cannon damage has also been increased from 42, or increased to 42 from 30. Battlecry's description has been updated to explain that it also reduces the resistances of affected targets. And this next one is actually one of my favorite ones, because especially as a interceptor, I love, interceptor is one of my main javelins that I use, is the ray strike's damage has been increased to 250, up from 200, and will now apply elemental effects to targets based on active aura. I'd actually really welcome that change, because one of the ray strike is definitely one of my favorite abilities I do like to use there. And it also would help as far as when you're trying to work with more of a team and you have an aura and you want to apply it in an enemy that's a little bit further out, you can just send out your ray strike, and that will definitely help there. Alrighty, with all that out of the way, my last point I wanted to go over was what my thoughts are on the loot drops and how it's been affecting everything so far. Alright, I'll give my 2 cents. I'll go ahead and full disclosure. I have not quite reached level 30 yet. I have just reached in game. I'm at the end of the game on it. I'm still not quite at level 30, so I can't share my full experience as far as how that goes and whatnot. I just mainly want to share some of my thoughts of what they can do to improve and how they can go from here. Alright, so the first thing I want to say is the increase, to me, it's good and it's bad. The ones they have done recently, they just reversed. It's good, but at the same time, to me, it seems a little like it be too much, because you don't want it to be to where you're just constantly being showered with these nice items, constantly being showered and showered and showered, and then just becomes, okay, now what? But I can see where people are saying where they want to. That does increase, how many builds you can do, what kind of builds, and everything you can kind of try and improve there. But to me, it becomes where it's not as special. You don't get as excited saying, oh, yes, I finally got this masterwork, or I finally got a legendary. And on the flip side of that, I have been seeing people who say they have gone, almost an entire week, have gone so long without even seeing a single legendary or a single masterwork. That does become a problem, because if you get so long, or get that long where you're not really seeing anything, you do tend to get less motivated to continue on, because it's like, okay, it's not really that worth it at this point. One of the things that I have seen people suggest, and have seen others say, and something that even developers have chimed in on, is it would be nice if they did actually do something like making certain events where they do increase the drop rates from there. It doesn't have to be like an all the time thing, but it can be something that they do, every now and then would be nice, and would also make it to where people would end up coming back for those events, but also to keep it a little bit more balanced there. As far as the base drops right now, I think they do need a little bit of an increase, because you are having so many people having their problems getting the loot and getting just some of the nice items, or even just getting just masterwork or legendary to drop at all. They did just make a post on Reddit, sort of consolidating all the topics that they've had regarding the loot, and they're trying to listen to some of the feedback from there. So hopefully they can take some of that feedback and apply it to some of the things that they're wanting to do with it as well, and hopefully we can find a little bit of a good middle ground from that there. But I think that'll be it for today. I hope everybody has a blessed evening and has a blessed day, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.